Hello and welcome to another episode of Geared Toward Gear. My name is Sean and I am so glad you're here. Thank you for joining me. Today we are talking about the Olight I3T EOS EDC flashlight. Now this light is not new. It's been around for quite a while actually. It's pretty popular. Although I think it's also underrated by sort of the flashlight nerd community, which I am a proud card-carrying member of. And for the review, we're going to be using this one here. This is their new color. They call it Desert Tan, although I would not call it Desert Tan. I would call it brown with a definite hint of bronze. It looks fantastic. So that's the new color option for the I3T EOS. This color just came out. The standard kind of satin black has been out for quite some time and is equally as fantastic. And at one point there was a copper version, although I believe these have been discontinued. I'm not positive, but I think they have. So the Olight I3T EOS, I think, it's almost a perfect EDC flashlight for me and kind of where I'm at this point when it comes to flashlights. I have collected, tested, carried, reviewed so many flashlights. I have probably 75 flashlights. A lot of them are quite expensive, some very budget friendly. Most of them are much brighter than the Olight I3T. However, as I've kind of gone through my flashlight journey, so to speak, I've kind of landed on the fact that it's not always about chasing down as many lumens as possible. There's a lot of other features or lack of features that I have kind of decided are more important to me. And obviously you can make that decision for yourself. But for me, the i3T and some other lights similar to it are kind of where it's at for me at this point. And I'll do a couple size comparisons for you real quick. And as I'm doing that, I'll tell you the price on this guy is going to be about 20 bucks. Whether you get the black or the new, I'm just going to call it brown. It's about 20 bucks, 22 maybe. And here is the old school Streamlight Micro Stream. This is not the rechargeable version. This is the one that's been around for years and years, and they are almost identical in dimensions, both in length and in diameter. The length on the Olight I3T EOS is 3.5 inches. The diameter is just about 1/2 of an inch, and the weight is 1.45 ounces, and that is with a battery. So almost identical to the Micro Stream. We'll bring in one more Micro Stream, and this is the USB rechargeable version. And we'll see that that one is noticeably longer by almost 1/2 inch. Obviously, this one does extend to reveal your USB charging port, so this one had to be a little longer. So there's your size comparison with the Streamlight Micro Stream. And one more, just for fun, because I have it nearby, we'll do the Lumentop Tool AA 2.0, which is a favorite of mine, and I do carry it often. Although this is a AA light, so it's going to be a larger diameter, but overall length, again, is virtually identical. So if you own a MicroStream or a Lumentop tool, it's essentially the exact same length. So there's your size comparisons. This runs on a single AAA battery. The one that it ships with is a standard kind of generic alkaline battery, and my recommendation is to take this out and never put it back in this or any other flashlight. I'm kind of a alkaline battery snob in that I don't think they belong in any flashlight or really any piece of gear, whether it be a radio or something like that, a weather radio that you really want to rely on, because they're prone to leakage, and we've just come a long way when it comes to battery technology. So I would get rid of the alkaline, and that leaves you with two other options. You can either use a disposable lithium battery. This is not a lithium ion, so it's not rechargeable. This is just one and done. Once it's dead, you toss it. The other option is a nickel metal hydride rechargeable battery, which is what this is, which is what I run in most of my flashlights that do not take lithium ions. And these green topped ones from Amazon Basics are actually quite good in comparison to some other more expensive brands that I've tried. So it is nice that you have three different options for fuel source: alkaline, disposable lithium, and nickel metal hydride. Again, alkaline I think should just not even be considered. So what I choose to run is the nickel metal hydride rechargeable, and what I do is in my EDC bag I carry some spares, and what I carry as spares are the disposable lithium. Not in this exact case, but one similar to it. And the reason for that is if this battery goes dead and I do not have a way to recharge it, because this is not a USB rechargeable flashlight, you cannot plug this into anything. So when the battery's dead, it has to be replaced. If I do not have something to charge that nickel metal hydride with, I'm going to replace it with a disposable lithium. And the main reason for that is that these store very well in extreme temperatures, whether that's heat or cold. So if it's sitting in an EDC bag in a vehicle or something like that, that's the reason I choose lithium as my backup. So let's quickly go through the specs on this guy and just some of the basic features. So we'll start with the LED. It is a Philips brand LED. It has a smooth reflector. It has a rubberized clicky tail switch, which you can see right there, which works quite well. It has one of my favorite pocket clips when it comes to EDC flashlights. It carries not super deep. Essentially this twist cap that you would take off to remove your battery, that's about what you're going to have sticking out, and that's roughly a 1/2 inch, and that's if you carry it bezel down. If you carry it bezel up, which you can because this is a bi-directional clip, you're going to have obviously more sticking out of your pocket, but that is an option. In addition, you can clip this to your hat and you've got a little headlamp. So those are your carrying options. It has 2 settings. That's it, just 2, high and low. And that's one of the things that I love about this flashlight is it's so simple. It's enough. That's the best way I can put it. This flashlight for me, for everyday carry, is enough. I don't really need technically anything more than this. So on high, you're going to get 180 lumens, which is again plenty for me. And on low, you're going to get 5 lumens. Another thing I really love about this light is that it always comes on in low to start with. And that is my preference. Again, I've kind of evolved to get to that point, but my preference is for a light to come on in low first. So some lights have memory features where it comes on in the last mode that was used. And you can get around that by just storing it in, on its lowest setting. But for something to just default automatically to low, I prefer. So the way this works is with either a half press or a full click of the tail switch, you're going to come on in low. So you have momentary and constant. If I just push it in partially, it's going to come on momentarily, and as soon as I release it, it turns off. If I do that again, it's going to go to high. So you see how it just kind of cycles through low, high, low, high, low, high. And if you let it sit for just a few seconds, it'll then default back to low. So right now I'm on high, and I turn the light off, and I let it sit for a few seconds, put it back in my pocket or in my bag or whatever. When I come back to it and I turn it on, it's going to come on in low every time, which I do like. So just high and low, that's it. Half press for momentary, or full click for constant on. So that is the user interface. It could not be more simple. And again, that simplicity I think is what I really appreciate about this light, is that there's no strobe, there's no SOS, there's not 6 brightness levels, there's not a side switch and a tail switch. It's just simple. When I need it, I push the button one time and it comes on low. And when I carry this light, when I use these lights, I generally use them in low. If it's pitch dark in my house and I need to go to the kitchen and I don't want to turn on a bunch of lights or wake people up, 5 lumens is more than I need. Same thing with, if I'm looking for something that's fallen under the couch or in my vehicle, 5 lumens often is plenty. 180 on high is more than enough to take a pet, take your dog out to go to the bathroom, or light up a room in your house, your driveway, your vehicle, look inside a bag, things like that. So for me, it's just simple. It's enough. It's not too much, not too little, and I just really enjoy it. And again, I have flashlights that aren't much bigger than this that can put out close to 3,000 lumens, which is awesome. It's crazy, but it's really unnecessary, and I never realized the full potential of those lights because I never use them in those settings. Even the Lumentop Tool AA 2.0, which is a favorite of mine, this will go up to 650 lumens on a lithium-ion rechargeable battery. When I use it typically on low, maybe medium. I rarely ever use this on turbo, so I'm not really getting the full benefit of that 650 lumens. It also is going to affect runtime. Speaking of runtime, on the Olight I3T EOS, on that 5 lumen low setting, you're going to get about 16 hours of runtime, and on high, you're going to get about 20-25 minutes, which doesn't seem like a lot, and it's really not, but compared to other similar lights that just use one single AAA, it's not that far outside of what we typically see. And again, for me personally, when I EDC a smaller light like this, I'm typically using it for like 30 seconds, a minute at a time. So a battery on this will last me weeks, like several weeks, before I have to either recharge it or replace it. So if you turn it on high and just let it run constantly, it's only going to last you about 20-25 minutes. But if you use it intermittently throughout the day, throughout the week, it's going to last you quite a while. You'd be surprised. And again, you know, we're so used to these lights now that come with 1,000 lumens, 2,000 lumens, and we forget how bright 180 lumens really is. And I'm probably not going to do an outside demo with this one because it's not going to be that impressive as far as like lighting up my shed in the corner of the yard from 200 feet away, because that's not what this is designed for. It's a simple EDC light, and it's going to get the job done 95% of the time. And when I say EDC, I'm talking about your average Joe or average Jane who puts a flashlight in their pocket each morning and uses it around the house, around the office, kind of intermittently. If we're talking about professional settings like law enforcement, military, security, EMS, or you work in maintenance or construction and you need a lot more light or a lot more runtime, then obviously this may not be the light for that specific job. But for a general duty, all-purpose EDC light, for me, and kind of where I'm at now with flashlights, it's really hard to beat something like the i3T EOS. And I think this new desert tan color happens to look phenomenal. So that's it. That's my thoughts on the Olight I3T EOS. Thank you guys for watching. And you will notice I do have another box here, and this is unopened. There's another flashlight in here identical to this, and that'll be part of an upcoming giveaway. My next kind of milestone giveaway, I'm going to start putting some stuff aside. So if you are subscribed to the channel, stick around, and next time I do a milestone type giveaway, that will be included. So that's it. Thank you guys again for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll talk to you soon.